Happy Tuesday, Striver. I hope that today has found you motivated, driven, hungry, ready to persist and to build your ideal future. And if that sounds like too much, then you might actually really love today's session. Today's personal development topic for you is on the question of, Brendan, what should I do if I lost my motivation? I received this recently in our community, and it's a perennial question I received since teaching motivation and high performance since 2007. I don't think I've ever done an event, taught a course, done a live cast without somebody saying, I feel like I lost my motivation, or I lost my purpose, or I lost that drive. Where did it go? And I always answer, well, you got old. I'm just teasing. Okay, hold on. 5 ideas if you lost motivation. Number 1, get some real rest. These days, we all tend to run ourselves so stressed, so overwhelmed, and so overextended that what ends up happening is, of course, we face mental fatigue, emotional fatigue, and yes, physical or even spiritual fatigue. When you're going 24/7 and you don't give yourself a break, then what ends up happening is you get wiped out. And yes, energy is correlated with motivation. Physical, emotional, and mental energy, all of them correlated with your sense of motivation. And too many people downplay this because, I'll get some rest eventually. And the issue is, not only do we need more recurrent pit stops on a daily basis to give our mind, bodies, eyes a break from these screens and this to-do list, but we need more weekends. Write it down. I need more weekends. You know, especially today as work-life balance has gotten totally crazy, where lots of folks spend way more time working from home. And the blurring of that role that we play as contributors, leaders, or creators in our organizations or companies or businesses kind of gets blended when you're in the house and you're dealing with the house tasks, the family, the kids, the issues, the dogs, the people coming over. And as that happens, it's easier to be working all the time. Even if you're staying at home, it's easier to have more things to do today. You might be educating the kids, might be trying to deal with neighbors, might have extended family around. And suddenly, you're always going and going and going. But the human body and brain need significant breaks. We need breaks, not just during the day again, but real breaks. I had a client one time who was just so spent, had worked with 3 other coaches. And one of the coaches he worked with finally reached out to me and said, Brendan, I can't crack the code. I've been working with this guy for a good 10 weeks, and I don't know what to do. Person's, successful, and I think you might be a better coach for this person. And usually when I get a referral like that, I don't want it because it means that something in that person's life, maybe they're not ready, or, because the coaches in my network are extraordinarily talented, and they know when they toss them over to me, that person's going to usually pay, 10, 20, 30 times more. And so I just I don't know, let me hop on the call. So I did a free session with this person and just had this conversation. And what became clear within probably 30 minutes, I do this assessment where I run them through the high performance habits assessment, which is very similar to the daily life score you're able to take here, right, in GrowthDay. Anyway, did it, and their energy score was so low, identified that as the primary thing, and we talked about it. And now this person was doing all the things you see on Instagram. They were drinking all the water, having that green drink. They were doing yoga. They, believed in taking baths with the fancy salts. They went for a walk every day. And, if you were casually observing what this person did, it seemed like fine. But also this person hadn't had 2 weekends off in a row in about 7 years. So it was pretty easy when I do my calendar assessment. It's one of my easiest ways to discover what people's motivation really is, not what they say it is, but what it really is by asking them to open up and share their calendar with me. And when I look at their calendar, if it's completely empty, I know that either they're a terrible scheduler or they are not judiciously and conscientiously building towards the future they want. Because if you're not blocking time and setting deadlines and managing it in a calendar somewhere, you're winging it and you're running way less efficient and effective than you could. It's not about working harder, it's about being efficient and effective with clear goals, deadlines, and projects outlined in your calendar so you know what the heck you're doing. Anyway, that was the situation with this person. And I could see they hadn't had, I went back probably 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months, and they were just booked wall to wall. And so we had a conversation. I basically forced them to take off 3 weekends in a row, which for them was like this monumental ask. They had never done it before. And you would have thought by the end of that month, I had delivered a new human being to the earth. I mean, this person was completely different. And I think today, people fool themselves and think that they have a weekend when the truth is they spent 2 to 4 hours a day on their phone. You know, the average American is an hour a day on Facebook alone, another hour a day on other social media and apps that are non-work related. That's 2 hours just blowing off time every day. And I know some people think that's their idea of vacation or mental break, but it's not. As you've heard me talk about often in Growth Day, scrolling through social media is actually incredibly taxing on your mind and your body. It causes extreme amounts of comparison fatigue and extreme amounts of judgment fatigue. So we had to change some basic habits. Person got their energy back. They had the most extraordinary year in their business than they'd ever had before, and was effusive with me and others about, oh my gosh, Brendan changed my life. And I was like, gave the dude some weekends. Second big idea is sometimes when you lose motivation, it's just your brain telling you got to get your house in order. It's saying, you know what, there's so much chaos around my home. But when I say house in order, I also mean that metaphorically, in that you just got to get yourself a little organized. There's so much uncertainty and so much chaos in the world a little bit. Sometimes, you know what, pull out that high performance planner, in paper and use that. Or log into GrowthDay and go to the plan section and use that. Or open up your Google Calendar and schedule something and use that. Just getting yourself organized. Research has found that just by literally clearing your desk, writing down 5 or 6 simple things to do by the end of the day, and doing that repeat over and over and over can increase productivity and effectiveness. Well, I'd argue it also increases motivation. Third, get closer to impact. Often people actually do really great work, meaningful work, important work, highly engaging work. But when they lose motivation, it's because they got away from the impact that their work had on the end user, either the customer or the team or the organization they're serving or their family. And they just got so far away. They felt like they were doing a lot of work and throwing it out into the black abyss of space, and they never saw it land. They never saw the final outputs of their work. It's kind of like if you work on an assembly line and your job is just to fashion a wheel to a car. And you just do that all day long, and you never actually get to see the car outside the warehouse, or the car, better yet, on the lot, or better yet, the car on the lot being driven home by a new family. If you never get to experience the end point of your efforts, the totality of the conclusion event where there is impact of your process, your work, then you lose that sense of meaning and fulfillment to it. And while you're doing a process in high efficiency, and what others, in the old world would call high performance, I don't think there's any high performance without meaning and fulfillment. And the research tends to prove that. The reality is if you don't see that impact, feel that impact, or sense that impact, Usually it's not because it's not there, you're just not looking for it or connecting with it. It's why I always tell executives, make sure you do some serious customer service, even as an executive. Be close to the work. Be close to the front lines. Listen to what's happening out there. See what is happening. If you're not doing that, you're not seeing the impact. And eventually, you'll just feel like you're shuffling things around. Fourth, sometimes we lose motivation when we lack basic momentum towards our life goals. It's like all of a sudden you used to crush it at work, but suddenly you're not so much anymore. You might not just feel like there's progress in your personal life. It's not the work that needs to be changed. Sometimes you just got your personal life. You had some goals for your health, or you had some goals for something you were going to learn, or for a hobby, or something you were trying to master. And you just don't feel like overall you're progressing in your personal life. Those are life goals that aren't necessarily tied to KPIs and OKRs. You just have some, lifestyle goals. You kind of wanted to one day live in that one neighborhood, or get that one car, or get your health in a certain way, or have a relationship like this. And when you're not moving towards those things and you just feel like you're being effective somewhere else, but not towards those things as well, motivation goes away. See, our whole psyche needs to have a forward lean, a sense of advancement and achievement, a sense of progress, to really feel engaged. It's a holistic thing. And that's why even here in Growth Day, every month we ask you to do a whole life assessment. That monthly assessment looks at all area of your life, from your finances to your friends to, things that you're learning, or your sense of adventure, or your health. I think that's really important to do every single month. It's the monthly whole life assessment in the GrowthDay app. It's under Life Scores if you haven't seen it before. Finally, lost motivation, level up your peer group. Level up your peer group. Now, you all know I'm a high performance coach. And for me, I've had, literally hundreds of people come in to get certified as a certified high performance coach through our institute. And what's incredible is how many coaches come in and they just say, I just need to level up with the caliber of people. I was a good coach, but I lost my motivation. And it wasn't their clients. It was they didn't have a peer group of people who were accelerating, who were that next level up in mastery, who were continually improving themselves. So they joined us and became a certified high performance coach. By the way, if you're ever interested in that, just go to growthday.com/CHPC. That's growthday.com/CHPC. That stands for Certified High Performance Coaching, CHPC. And so these coaches who, by the way, they're life coaches, they're business coaches, they're executive coaches. These are folks who know about motivation, but they lost theirs and they come into our community going, oh my gosh, I see you all at such a higher level. And not just because usually CHPCs earn more, but because the vibe, the community that we seek to create and the caliber of people that we work with, because we really work on our certification. It's just another level. And I share that as an example that makes a difference in my career too, because if I'm not working with CHPCs, if I don't know that community's out there, I would have lost some motivation too. There's something about in your career or your life having a peer group. I know parents who, are stay at home, but they've got other parents in their neighborhood who they look up to and admire their parenting style, and it helps them level up and it helps them become more motivated to become a great parent. The people that we hang around with dramatically shape our feelings and our emotions and our long-term ambitions. They cheer us on to accept and seek larger and higher standards, or they let us fall below the standard in which we want to live. Your peer group really matters. That's why I always share with you all, please get active in our community. Just go in our community and share what habits do you have in your life that keep you productive, happy, sane, Growing. What's your morning routine? What's your wellness routine? What makes you happy? Post those things in the community. Share and learn from one another. When you get around to people who are sharing about the ways that they seek self-improvement, something changes. 2 years ago today, I was with, I think, 2,500 people in San Diego at one of our personal development seminars. And, people walk in on that first day, and I do 4-day events, and they walk in and they're kind of like, what's this about? Is this a conference? Is this a concert? I heard Brennan jumps and claps and gets us all going. What's this all about? And there's always questions. But by day 4, people are leaving there transformed, more motivated, more inspired than they've ever been before. And it's not because of me on stage. It's because they meet so many other people who are also, like them, ambitious for a better life, excited to try new things, open to new ways of learning, open to shaping their mindset and their habits in such a way that supports their goals and their dreams and their highest selves. Getting around people, man, it can change your life. For those wondering, we will do a live event either this late fall or early spring. I don't know when, but when we do, we will announce it to the GrowthDay community for sure. But I just really support you in and sort of cheer you on and urge you to find a peer group. 3, 4, 5 people who you keep in connect with, you create a little group with, you talk with on a consistent basis about personal development, your goals, your dreams, your best habits, what makes you happy. As you share more and more and more of that with a tighter and tighter group of people, I promise the motivation can start to come back in. Now, of course, I didn't cover everything in the session. Those are just 5 common things I often look for or listen to. Obviously, there are issues sometimes of mental health, physical health, things going on in our family. There are short-term acute pains in our life that can really take us away from feeling motivated or driven. I always urge people, if you haven't before, work with a certified high-performance coach. If you want one, reply to any of our emails and say you want to work with one. Or if you are really struggling with this for a long period of time, make sure you seek out therapy, professional licensed therapist or counselor who might be able to support you as well. I'm somebody who really believes that motivation, it can come and go. It's our job to stoke it, to light those fires by aiming our ambition, by reminding ourselves of our goals, by getting around great people, by taking care of our physical and our emotional health. These things can all, fortunately, be levered up. They can all be leveled up. And I really believe if you remember that, then you always remember with me that each day we can choose to focus on things that make us feel a little more motivated. Even if some days that means we just got to get into the work, get some momentum, put in the effort. Because as I always say, a lot of motivation comes after momentum. And the first part of getting momentum is usually not that much fun. It just looks like showing up and doing the work. And then suddenly the momentum catches, the engagement increases, the progress fires, and you start to feel something of the will and the spirit coming back alive. If you enjoyed this Daily Fire, do me a favor. Share Growth Day with somebody today. Go out and say, hey, you know what? I see that you're struggling over here. Or, hey, I recognize your potential. Go listen to this Daily Fire this guy did in Growth Day. Send them to growthday.com. They can sign up for a 14-day free trial at any of our plans. And then guess what? They can listen to today's Daily Fire too. So if you know someone who's lacking a little motivation or drive, realize that sometimes there's a lot going on for them. And you can be an encouraging force for them. Be that light for somebody. Send somebody you know and love today to growthday.com and let them learn with us. Let them spark that fire again with us. Let them learn something that you and I know and we practice. The truth that every day is a great day to grow.